There are moments in global politics when silence is more dangerous than war. And right now, we are in one of those moments because the Strait of Hormuz is open again, ships are moving, oil is flowing, and yet nothing is normal. Welcome to the world workstation where we don't just report the events, we decode the system behind them. Let's begin the video. Let's start with the hot topic. Let's start with the biggest illusion because people think reopening Hormuz means peace. That is wrong. This is not peace. This is not controlled tension because while Iran has opened the strait, the United States has not removed its pressure. The naval presence remains, the blockade conditions remain, and negotiations are still broken. Now, the real question is why would Iran reopen something that gave them maximum power? Simple, because control is more powerful than closure. If Iran fully shuts Hormuz, it loses its global support. Yes, you heard it right. But if it keeps open under pressure, it controls uncertainty, and uncertainty drives market politics and power. Let's get into the deeper because the real war is not about ships. It is about something most people don't understand. It is the element uranium. Let me explain this in the simplest way possible. Uranium is not an oil. It is a fuel like petrol. It is energy, completely different level. Inside the uranium, there is a something called U-35. This is the part of this is the part that can create a massive energy at low levels. It is used in nuclear reactors. It produces electricity, and at high levels, it becomes something else. That something is more dangerous. It becomes capable of nuclear weapons. And now, here is where the entire conflict begins. Iran has enriched the uranium up to 60%, not officially recorded. I don't know what it is and what 60% mean by. Uh, and this is critical because from 60% reaching weapons grade 90% is no longer a difficult. That means one thing: Iran is not a nuclear power yet, but it is very close to becoming one. And this is exactly why the United States is pushing hard, not just to stop Iran, but to delay time. Now, look at the negotiation conflict. The US wants a 20-year halt. Iran is offering only 5 years. Yes, at when we see at first glance, this looks like a negotiation gap, but it's not. It is a strategy difference because a 5-year pause means Iran pauses today but returns stronger tomorrow. A 20-year pause means Iran loses a long term leverage. So, Iran is not rejecting talks, it is protecting its future power. Now, here is the part most channels won't tell you. This is not just a Iran versus USA. China is watching this very closely because China depends heavily on oil from this region. If Hormuz becomes unstable, China's economy feels it immediately because Russia is also plays a role plays a role because instability in oil markets pushes global prices higher, and higher oil prices benefits certain economies. So now ask yourself, who actually benefits from this tension? Oil exporters. Oil exporters benefit, energy companies benefit, geopolitical players gain influence. But the biggest loss is the common population. Fuel prices rise, transport costs increase, inflation spreads. You don't see the war, but you feel it. Now, now let's address the biggest misconception. Is Iran trying to build nuclear weapons? Officially, no. They say it's for peaceful purposes. The energy used in common for medical use and for research. But here's the reason. A reason and the reality is 60% of enrichment has no practical civilian use, which means one thing is clear: Iran is building the capability of creating a nuclear weapons, not necessarily a weapons, but the ability to create them quickly, and that changes the global power. Now, let's move to the most important question: what happens next? There are only two possible paths. Path 1: a deal happens. Iran agrees to a temporary halt, sanctions are reduced, markets stabilize. But this is only a delay, not a solution. Path 2: no deal. What happens when the no deal happens between Iran and USA? Obviously, tensions will increase, military pressures rises, proxy conflicts expands, and Hormuz becomes unstable again. But here's my analysis is full war is unlikely because both sides understand the cost. Instead, uh, what will we see is controlled pressure, uh, limited escalation, strategic disruptions, economic warfare, uh, because in modern geopolitics, war is no longer about destruction, it is about the control. It is about the control. Now think about this: Iran reopens Hormuz because it wants to keep nuclear leverage. The United States maintains the pressure but avoids full conflict. China secures the energy while watching the situation. This is not chaos. This is a calculated balance. Final thought. I would like to give a final thought. This end of the conflict. This is the beginning of a new phase, I would say rather. And the real question is not yet completed. Will war happen? The real question is who controls the pressure? Because the one who controls pressure controls the world. Remember this. You heard it first on World Workstation channel. So tell me, do you think this ends in a deal or an escalation? Comment your thoughts below and subscribe to the World Workstation because here we don't just follow the news, we decode them. We decode the power, we reveal the power behind the scenes. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to the channel. We'll meet you on next video.